Hello, everyone. I all hope you had a very much of a beautiful, very much of a very beautiful day, very much of a beautiful day, very much of a beautiful day, and a very much of a great day indeed. As you can see, guys, it's partly cloudy as it is from yesterday, and it's still cold and all of that as well. But despite that, guys, I all hope you're doing well, and I all hope you're enjoying your day and your evening and your morning. And I all hope you're having a very much of a great evening and a blessed evening and afternoon. I am very still grateful for your support, guys. Completely grateful for your support in viewing and watching my episodes as well. It gratefully means a lot to me. So God bless you all so much. Anyway, on today's episode, we're to speak about a superhero known as Warboy, who is an original member of the Universal Heroes, who is exactly aiding them on their mission to restoring sacred peace and balance and harmony to the sacred world and to the sacred universe and to the other universes and to the known universe and to humanity as well. So let's get to it. In Warboy's early life, he was exactly created to become a very powerful weapon to fight against Warman and to fight against the United Heroes in a process. During at that time, he was quietly exactly used as a living weapon in order to creating more weapons, and destructive weapons for his masters and for his leaders as well in a process. Unlike all the other weapons, unlike all the other supernatural, giant taking weapons, all the other monsters were also gradually created to becoming supernatural weapons and monsters as well in a process in order for Warboy to becoming the super soldier that the founders exactly wanted him to become. On the 1st of January, Universal Man and also Mind Girl and also Rex exactly entered the facility of the base and gradually exactly snuck in and discovered that there was a super weapon called Project War known as Warboy. They gradually fought against the other monsters that were telepathically controlled by the other telepathical monsters and gradually took them down. They gave Warboy a choice in either to follow their example, in order to release him from the shackles of his masters and his creators so that he can exactly choose his own path and also joining the universal heroes to making a great sacred difference to the world and to the sacred world in a process as well, to the world before making the sacred difference to the sacred world as well in the process as well. And Warboy gradually accepted the terms and he decided to fight against the other monsters and helping the other original members of the universal heroes, which he successfully able to do, turning the events around and completely exactly fought against his creator. Professor Block was very quietly, completely upset and very quietly, completely unpleased that the weapon had successfully, gradually escaped its psychic control and also its telepathic control from its masters and creator. Professor Block decided in order to take matters to himself and decided to exactly inform the high security of the monsters to exactly slow down the universal heroes, which is systematically able to do so at well. But Warboy and the other heroes exactly triumphed and exactly escaped the facility and remained victorious throughout the battle, able to neutralizing all the monsters that Professor Block exactly dispatched and sent. Upon the destruction of the facility, they were unable to find Professor Block or any of his associates as well, including the monsters that are quietly created to becoming supernatural weapons and weapons of destruction and weapons of war in a process. The United Heroes exactly asked the original members of the Universal Heroes exactly what is the biggest mistake that they quietly exactly did tonight and was one of the foolish mistake. Warboy and Universal Man and Rex exactly told the members of the United Heroes what they did today is exactly what exactly intended to happen, and they've given all the training and all the techniques to fighting all sinister threats and all sinister powerful adversary. And Warboy gradually exactly joined in and told the members of the United Heroes that he is Warboy and that he's a powerful weapon meant to destroy and meant to exactly remove the United Heroes away. But the members of the United Heroes decided to give Warboy and the original members of the Universal Heroes a chance to prove themselves worthy to humanity and also to themselves as well. And they all accepted that they are the Universal Heroes, a new Sacred Covert team as well. They returned to the new headquarters of the base of the operation on the new headquarters of the base of the operation on the 2nd of January, where Woman and United Men exactly introduced that This will be their base of headquarters where they'll be able to exactly operate from, and also their home bases where they'll be able to deploy missions and high ranking missions for them. But despite that, United Man told that Universal Man is quietly the high ranking leader and that he will be the one to deploying the assignments and missions and everything else, and that he will successfully exactly do the high ranking missions. But if they're successfully ready, they'll be able to do the impossible missions one day or another. Upon that, they exactly reintroduced Mind Girl into the rest of the Universal Heroes and stated that she's a new member of the Universal Heroes and that she will be successfully be joining in the Universal Heroes as well. And Universal Man and Old Boy completely welcomed Mind Girl and stated that this is exactly the very much of a great day it will be indeed. On the 4th of January, War Boy and Mind Girl and Rex and Universal Man exactly took upon a mission on themselves in order to get to know themselves and each other, but they were quietly disturbed by a mysterious adversary and foe who used powerful energy power and energy science cybernetics technology in order to create tornadoes and destruction and everything. And they discovered they were quietly fighting up against the worst, biggest, baddest android of all time, which they were completely able to destroy and were able to completely destroy completely. Warboy was quite victorious, and so was the members of the Universal Heroes as well. They returned back to their headquarters of their base, able to study the android, realizing that someone else very powerful and very destructive created the android and all of that. But the good question is exactly what was the real reason and what was the real purpose of the reason as well. On the on the on the 9th of January, the Universal Heroes attended another sacred covert mission that United Man was able to provide the Universal Heroes with in order to understand the delivery transference in order to understand a delivery, in order to understand a powerful energy source that was quietly spiking throughout the asteroid base, which exactly started to rising attention and all of that. And the Universal Heroes went straightly into the territory of the ruthless and most powerful monarch ever ruled her home planet with greatness, authority, and with great brutality and with an iron fist. Throughout that monarchy's home planet and world, which they were able to enter Queen Ivy or Queen Light's territory. They were able to disrupt the Shadow Empire's delivery transportation of more technology, and the Universal Heroes continued destroying the technology and everything else along with it, and they completely fought against the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders in the state of the battle, and they successfully exactly able to arrive victorious. They told exactly Universal Man on the 10th. They reported to Universal. They reported. They not to Universal Man. They reported to United Man on the 10th of January, telling him that the delivery transference was quietly made from another universe to the other worlds. Stated that someone very powerful and very dangerous is quietly at work and is still quietly in power, which means in other words that they're facing, or rather will be facing, their greatest and most formidable adversaries as well. And United Man was quietly very much completely unsuccessfully pleased. At that day, he decided to reintroduce another member of the Universal Heroes known as Firebird, who gradually is a young and powerful, formidable woman who is very skilled in archery, in bow and arrow, hand-to-hand combat, first aid kit, and agility and endurance, and also in agility and endurance as well. Very, very skilled and very, very clever and very, very intelligent. Firebird was very quietly happy to join the team of the Universal Heroes, and she quietly exactly accepted the invitation as well. On the 12th of January, the Universal Heroes were quietly sentenced to another. They were quietly sent on another mission throughout the shadow, throughout Sacred Valley in order to understand the delivery transference of the technology which they came up at fighting up against a deadly and most powerful, reputable enemy known as the Dark Druids and Shadow Brock as well, who's a crime lord and a leader, and founder of Sacred Valley, who's a frequent collaborator of the founders as well, and a frequent ally of the founders as well. A group of ancient, formidable, powerful supervillains who have a very much of a sinister and most important goal ever known in order to become the sole rulers of the cosmos and of the rest of sacred existence and of the known universe and of planet Earth as well. They fought up against Shadow Block and the rest of the dark magic users. They extremely exactly disrupted. They exchange of the handouts of the technology and of the shadow energy as well. They completely destroyed it and they completely sabotaged the deal and the rest of the formula as well. They were able to report to United Man on the 13th of January, telling United Man that there's something more quietly at play going on, and that there's a hidden war that's quietly exactly brewing out, and it's completely exactly spiraling out of control. And United Man completely agreed until Four, who is a founder and a leader of the United Heroes, revealed themselves and told the Universal Heroes that hidden war they quietly exactly sensing it's happening from the sacred universe, which is another universe that's quietly on the brink of war and destruction. And the forces that they're completely fighting up against are the forces that quietly come and the forces that quietly completely come. They came from the sacred universe and throughout the sacred world in order to thrust humanity and the rest of sacred existence into chaos and into further destruction for them to benefit from the chaos so that they can become the sole rulers of the universe and of the rest of the cosmos as well. The Universal Man told Four that they would gladly exactly be able to help the Four Nation Hunters take out their greatest enemy and also one of their greatest and most formidable foes, and all the other heroes successfully agreed as well. During at that time, Magic Man exactly reintroduced Universal Magic Girl to the Universal Heroes, stating to her that she is the new member of the Universal Heroes, and Universal Man welcomed Magic Girl into the team, stated that she's exactly part of the team and that she'll exactly be part of the Universal Heroes and she'll exactly be one of the Universal Heroes as well. Meaning, in other words, she's official member of the Universal Heroes, and all the other heroes such as Warboy, Rex, and Firebird and Mind Girl exactly welcomed and was exactly welcomed Magic Girl, exactly welcomed Magic Girl into the Universal Heroes. Four told the Universal Heroes that he needs to meet some of his other proteges as well, in the accountants as well. On the 14th of January, Four and the rest of the Universal Heroes exactly traveled to the Institute of New York in order to meet the Four Nation Hunters who were quietly holding down the fort against the attack of the other monsters. He introduced Hank Starwood, Sam Starwood, Vogel Smith Starwood, and also Ivy Ferris Hellfire, in other words. Stated to him that these are the Universal Heroes and that they'll become their longtime allies and also friends as well. They all exactly introduced themselves, stated that their partnership will exactly transfer into becoming something greater and very much more spontaneous, and they'll make a very interesting, very big difference. And so did the Four Nation Hunters. Hank Starwood exactly informed the Universal Heroes that they had war against the original Lord of Magic, who is a founder and the original leader of the Shadow Empire, who is exactly willing to exterminate and wipe out the supernaturals and the aliens and the superhumans in the process in order to further his own plans for universal domination by any means necessary. And Warpo was quite reluctant that they have to stop the Lord of Magic once and for all. And they all successfully agreed as well. On the 15th of January, the Universal Heroes and the rest and Warboy and the rest of the Four Nation Hunters completely exactly fought a war against the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders at their central headquarters, completely disrupting all their technology and all the destructive and formidable technology and completely destroying it, all of it in the process as well. The other Shadow Empire warlord was able to teleport away as realizing that the new Universal Man poses a greater magnificent threat to the rest of his goals and to the rest of his plans, despite that they exactly reported back to the base of the operations and able to exactly told Four on the 16th of January that they were successfully able to destroy the Shadow Empire's central headquarters and base for operation. But Four exactly told the Universal Heroes and the Four Nation Hunter members that the real threat is the original Lord Magic, and he has to be effectively removed out of the way. Otherwise, he's going to exterminate all of us and wipe us out and destroy us in the process by any means necessary. And Warboy completely agreed. Universal Man and the other heroes continued studying more about the original Lord of Magic's immortality and power and skill sets and everything else that he quietly possesses, and they continue to learn more about his weakness and also in his power source. On the on the 20th of January, the Universal Heroes exactly arrive on an abandoned planet, destroyed abandoned planet, and they exactly realize that they've been quietly, completely been set up, and Warboy and the other heroes completely detect that they've been quietly, completely set up as the dark magic users completely reveal themselves, and also the little magic stated to the Universal Heroes that their time has come to an end and that the prophesied child will die now and immediately, effective immediately by any means necessary. The Little Magic restarted with release all his dark magic and powers in his ability against Universal Man and the other rest of the Universal Heroes completely fighting up against his forces, and his troops and the Four Nation Hunters came to their aid, and as well as the members of the Intergalactic Coalition, while the original members of the Universal Heroes fought against the Little Magic, keeping him busy and occupied. The fight exactly continued until the 20, the 21, the 22, the 23, the 24, the 23rd, and the 25, and the 26, and the 27, and the 28, and the 29, until the Lower Magic source, or until the original Lower Magic source of power had been destroyed completely. After that, the prophesied child and the rest of the Universal Heroes completely took down the original Little Magic and ending his life in a process. After that, they watched as the original Lord of Magic, seeing his body and his soul being decimated right from the very end into the very beginning of his soul and body. And that's when the power vacuum on the 1st of February was heavily created within the Shadow Empire. The Universal Heroes and the Four Nation Hunters and the rest of the other Four Nation Hunter elders and leaders exactly decided to form the Intergalactic Coalition in order to liberating many more worlds and many more planets. But the Intergalactic Coalition Four Nation Hunters exactly informed the Universal Heroes that there are many, many sinister, darker, powerful, formidable threats and foes and adversaries who are more dangerous than the original Little Magic, and they quietly admitted that the original Little Magic was more powerful and more powerful and very quietly and magnificent threat throughout the rest of sacred history. And now that he's been finally stopped, his death has created a power vacuum within the Shadow Empire, which every other Shadow Empire warlord and commander will start fighting for the throne, for the Shadow Empire, for the Shadow Empire's throne and control across the rest of the known universe and throughout the rest of sacred history as well. And Warboy completely agreed, and the rest of the Universal Heroes completely agreed that it's time for them to liberate all these worlds and all these planets from the Shadow Empire's control, which they all systematically agreed all together. On the 5th of February, Warboy and the other heroes completely worked together with the world heroes and with the Universal founders and with the Universal monster heroes, exactly liberating thousands of worlds and planets and civilization until Universal Magical formed her own merry band of other sacred heroes known as the Universal Magic Heroes, who gratefully helped the Universal Heroes exactly take the war straightly directly to the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders. Warboy completely exactly fought up against the worst of the worst bad guys and completely take them down, and all of the worst of the worst bad guys were completely sentenced directly into the Astral Prison to remain in custody of the Astral Prison, a prison designed to house super criminals and super villains and evil warlords and warlocks and dark druids and dark witches and dark faithful and powerful super criminals who wreak greater havoc and destruction throughout the sacred world and throughout the rest of sacred existence as well. Warboy was quite successfully pleased and very happy as he met up with the rest of the Universal Heroes on the new asteroid base of a new other asteroid base central headquarters on the on the on the eighth on the eighth of on the eighth on the 8th of February, telling them that their victory is quite the overdue, and Universal Man created a hologram of all the other worlds and planets still under Shadow Empire control, stated that the Intergalactic Coalition will do its part by liberating other worlds and other planets, with the other sacred heroes and other teams of heroes exactly able to help them. They have all the help and all the resources they need, but they should exactly focus their biggest and common goal in taking down all the other Shadow Empire warlords and also fighting the bad guys who are still wreaking havoc and chaos throughout planet Earth and who still exactly have to be systematically being taken down. And Warboy successfully agreed with that and decided in order to lend a hand in order to exactly make sure that the operation becomes a full success as well. And on the other note, United Man exactly told the Universal Heroes that Dark Master's empire is successfully rising from the shadows and is gratefully taking control of the other territories and other worlds, and they systematically have to take him down and secretly have to take him down and literally destroying his forces and the other occupations of the conquered worlds and cities and known worlds and cities and magical worlds and planets and civilization that are under control of Dark Master's empire and the rest of his forces. Universal Men exactly agree that the Universal Heroes will gladly exactly take the operations to themselves in order to fighting Dark Master and the rest of his forces. They shook hands that this might exactly be the last time they exactly see each other. But the rest of the other sacred heroes and the allies exactly told them that this will exactly be their last where they exactly see each other. They'll exactly soon exactly come back to one. They'll exactly soon come back no matter what. Mind Girl and Wolf Boy completely exactly shared a kiss as they were quietly a couple and exactly still remained as a very powerful couple of a superhero couple and stated that they will successfully return from their mission and that they're making a huge difference throughout the sacred world and throughout the rest of humanity as well. On the 11th, on the 11th of February, on the 11th of February, on the 11th of February, the Universal Heroes exactly arrived on a destroyed planet and destroyed planets and many other destroyed planets throughout the rest of sacred existence and completely fought up against the forces of Dark Master until Dark Master's hologram exactly appeared watching the Universal Heroes fighting up against his forces and everything else. Dark Master told his high-ranking officials to release all the monsters and everything else from the Dark Dimension in order to wipe out and exterminate the Universal Heroes once and for all. The battle completely lost it and it continued to exactly grow as Warboy continued to realizing that they finally were the worst and greatest, most formidable enemy of all time. And they decided to exactly fight up against Dark Master's forces and monsters as well in the process. And Warboy and the Universal Heroes remained victorious as Dark Master's forces exactly launched a powerful genetic bomb that will easily decimate the rest of the planet and the rest of the unknown worlds and civilizations in the process of close proximity. Universal Men exactly realizes the bomb can't exactly be deactivated or undeactivated. They have to exactly fully retreat and evacuate themselves completely and then to go away. And the bomb literally destroyed the destroyed planets and the worlds and everything else, destroying everything else within its close proximity in a far distance away. As it seems like the Universal Heroes completely disappeared for the entire month of February until the 1st of March. They were quietly heard again, and Warboy and the other Universal Heroes completely returned to the asteroid base of their headquarters, realizing that many things have quietly changed. As the Intergalactic Coalition exactly told the Universal Heroes that they dropped and their mission in disappearing throughout their last place, that the Shadow Empire is completely under the literal current controlled by another ancient and powerful supervillain known as Red Bolt, who is a founder and a leader of the Dark Order, another ancient and formidable secret society. Despite that, exactly, Universal Man was able to get intelligence stating that the Star Empire and that the Star Empire's forces are completely exactly planning something with the Order of the 12 by working with the Universal Prince. And whatever it is that they're planning is not successfully good. And Warboy exactly gradually exactly agreed as well. On the 10th of March, Warboy completely returned to his home apartment, able to exactly relax for a while and watching the news and seeing Mr. Good and Mr. X exactly talking about the Universal Heroes and about not exactly about the Universal Heroes, about the United Heroes, how they job in saving humanity and everything else from the aliens and from other sinister threats, meaning that the United Heroes are doing a bad job. And Warboy completely turned over the TV and Mind Girl completely appeared, stated that their lives have completely have changed for so many times and everything else is completely changing very much in a few months, in a very much of a few months, in a few years after their long disappearance, meaning that they are fighting their greatest and most formidable enemy as well. On the 15th of March, Warboy was quietly present with the other members of the World Heroes and with the other members of the World Heroes as Animal Boy. As Animal Boy told exactly Warboy that they exactly willing to assist the Universal Heroes and the rest of the United Heroes and the rest of some of the United Heroes and Intergalactic Coalition to keeping the armada of the Star Empire at bay, which they gradually did. The Warboy and the other heroes exactly entered and entered the mothership's central headquarters and fought up against the Star Empire, warlord, and completely exactly took him down, gave everything else they only wanted to take him down, but they were completely overpowered and overmatched as the Star Empire completely took them down, and exactly explained his reasons and his plan for wanting to destroy planet Earth and to wanting to wipe it out completely. But before you can exactly destroy planet Earth, Warboy and the other heroes completely gained the upper hand as they completely took him down and completely subdued him and neutralized him once and for all. He was heavily neutralized, and the heroes were very much victorious as well. During on the on the on the 16th, not on the 16th, on the 17th, on the 17th of March, Warboy and the other heroes completely arrived to the Astros Boy, said that they exactly did a very much of a good job, meaning that everything else is quietly going according to plan, the way it's intended to be, that they neutralized their greatest threat. Universal Man told Warboy and the other members and the other regional members that the Star Empire and the Shadow Empire are currently willing to wage war against each other for sole control over the sacred universe and over the sacred war, which means, in other words, they have to stop the war before it completely takes place by any means necessary. And Warboy completely agreed as well. On the 20th of March, Warboy exactly remained watching the statues, of the fallen heroes and of the fallen forces of evil on the sacred museum within Sacred City, able to exactly learn the great bad guys and good guys who are quietly waging war against each other were completely once the good guys and everything else. And Mind Girl completely exactly joined him and stated that their lives have completely changed, but either way they can exactly have a normal life if they're not exactly normal people. And Warboy completely told Mind Girl that they're not exactly normal, that they're exactly extraordinary people with extraordinary powers, and extraordinary people with extraordinary powers and gifted powers and abilities as well. Since he exactly told them as well, and they both of them exactly helped each other. On the 21, Warboy completely met up with Mr. X. Warboy completely met up with Mr. X in Washington D.C., telling him that his biggest baddest tactical way was kind of the worst and one of the dumbest worst way, and he told him that his attack against the United Heroes was quite like a bulldozing attack, and Mr. X exactly told Warboy that he'll do whatever it takes to take down the United Heroes and making sure that the end comes to an end once and for all. And he told Warboy to join him and his side in order for him to become his personal bodyguard or his personal enforcer. But Warboy completely refused, and he told Mr. X that he will never be like him and you will never ever become like him. After that, he completely exactly left Mr. X right there at the park. And Mr. X was completely very much happy and very successfully pleased with Warboy's reaction and all of that as well, and the funful fears as well, out of all of this as well. On the 28th of March, Warboy and the other Universal heroes exactly met up with the Universal founders, as the Universal founders completely informed the Universal heroes of the chaos on the other side of the sacred universe is quietly spawning out of control, and is quietly growing literally out of control, as the forces of evil are all literally secretly associating themselves, working together with the other forces of evil, and are completely exactly rising into power and ascending to power. And the Universal Prince and his society is completely rising and ascending to power very quickly and very much quietly, very faster than ever possible. Despite that, Universal Man told the Universal founders that he has a secret plan and a very greater plan already ready to neutralize the members of the Order of the 12, and as well to take down the Order of the 12 and to take down the Universal Prince and the forces of the Star Empire once and for all. On the 1st of April, Warboy was quietly present within the ambush as the Universal Heroes and World Heroes completely began ambushing the members of the Order of the 12 and the members of the Star Empire, as stated that the Universal Prince exactly made a big mistake in underestimating these Universal Heroes' abilities in during the operation and the abilities, and the Universal Earth Heroes were quietly present. And Universal Man exactly told the Universal Prince that he made a big mistake in underestimating the ability. The Universal Prince summoned an army of assassins and mercenaries in order to wipe out and fully take down the Universal Heroes and the Universal Earth Heroes and the World Heroes once and for all. And he completely teleported himself out of the battle, and the rest of his associates completely exactly did the same thing. They completely disappeared and completely exactly left the rest of their forces to battle the Universal Heroes. And Warboy took the fight directly to the Star Empire warlord, and completely exactly fought up against them as they completely victorious over the battle, and stated that they completely won the battle against the Star Empire forces and against the Universal Princes and against the Universal Prince as well, meaning by crippling the operation and their plans as well. And Warboy and the other heroes captured several key enemies and they were ultimately sentenced into custody and sentenced directly into the Astral Prison, where they remained into custody as well. But the other heroes were not quite exactly feeling victorious as well. On the 2nd of April, they completely exactly congratulated Time Boy and exactly making sure that he is the new member of the Universal Heroes and completely welcome him in open arms and Universal and Warboy was completely present as well at the time as well. And Organic Boy and the other members of the World Heroes were completely present and completely exactly congratulated him and clapped hands for him, exactly stated that he's official member of the Universal Heroes as well. Chaos exactly began to insert as the war between the Shadow Empire and the Star Empire began exactly building up, as the forces of evil began secretly converging on other worlds and other separate worlds and planets. And Warboy realizes that the enemies are completely planning something big and very, very, very nasty. Mr. X exactly told the Universal Heroes and the rest of the United Heroes that the enemy of the enemy of the enemy of the enemy is now their friends, meaning that they should exactly work together in order to stop them, in order to stop the Star Empire's forces from destroying planet Earth and the rest of the other planets once and for all, which he created a powerful nanotech device that can exactly disable the destructive weathery device weathery that can exactly use to alter everything else in specification. And the other sacred heroes realize that they have to exactly split up in pair groups across the globe of humanity, across the global planet Earth and the rest of the galaxy in order to save the unknown worlds and unknown planets in the civilization before they were completely destroyed and completely exactly hurt by. So the Warboy completely and the rest of the members of the Universal Heroes completely spread out and scattered across the rest of the universe and saving other worlds and other planets and completely battled the drones and the Star Empire warlords and commanders and completely exactly fought up against them. On the 4th of April, Rex exactly told Warboy that he's still a member of the Universal Hero and that he will always remain as a member of the Universal Hero. And despite that, Warboy exactly told Rex that they did a very bang up job and a very good job exactly inspiring other sacred heroes to rise up and also to making a difference, a very remarkable difference indeed as well. On the 15th of April, Warboy and Mind Girl were completely exactly selling into a new apartment of their new house, which was completely within America, and stated that this is their new house and their new home, that they can completely exactly make a remarkable difference and everything else, that this will be their sacred life in their new headquarters where they'll be able to operate from. And Universal Man completely appeared, telling Warboy that he needs him for an assignment and he needs him to successfully meet him at the base, and he also needs Mind Girl as well. The three heroes and Firebird and Rex and Time Boy and Universal Magic Girl and the other members of the Universal Heroes completely exactly met up at the base, said to him that they need to exactly work together in welcoming other members of the Universal Heroes, which is Werewolf Girl and Werewolf Boy, and the other hero known as Star Boy, and the other members of the Universal Heroes as well, to completely to welcome and to be inducted to the group. And they completely exactly clapped hands, meaning that this is the beginning of a very much of a new day as well. On the 1st of May, Warboy and the other members of the Universal Heroes went to investigate an abandoned world in a planet besieged by dark magic and everything else, realizing that it's been a setup and an ambush as the bad guys exactly reveal themselves heavily equipped with destructive and powerful Shadow Empire technology, as they told the Universal Heroes that they had enough of their interference and that their time is over to successfully fight. Mind Girl psychically exactly linked them with their psychic powers and Universal Man told their troops to exactly marshal up against the forces of evil and completely took down the bad guys, and Warboy completely took the fight against the operatives and all the other assassins and completely taken down. The Universal Heroes were very, very happy that they were completely victorious of the battle. They were able to capture several key enemies and they were ultimately sentenced straightly into the Astral Prison to to remain in the astral prison in custody, to remain in the astral prison for their crimes against the rest of the sacred world and against the rest of sacred existence in the process. Despite that, Warboy exactly felt that their enemies are completely onto them, and that their most powerful, winnable threats and foes and enemies are completely onto them, and that they successfully have to be neutralized and successfully have to be neutralized and have to be stopped. And Warboy and the other rest of the members of the Universalists completely agreed that they have to exactly do whatever it takes to stop the Intergalactic Coalition as well. On the 10th of May, Warboy and the other rest of the Universal Heroes exactly met up with the Intergalactic Coalition as the Intergalactic Coalition told them troubling news that there's a new Lord of Magic who's highly forming his own secretive society, and he's now the new leader, and he's now forming his new empire, he's now forming his new shadow empire within the shadows, and he's completely rising and ascending from the shadows, and the Intergalactic Coalition has become compromised as well, and under the influence of the new Lord of Magic, Universal Man and Warboy completely realizes that they will be played from both sides, and the forces of evil are completely exactly taking over their greatest work and about to undo their hard work and everything else up. Warboy exactly met up with Mr. X back on Planet Earth on the 13th of May, and told Mr. X exactly what is his bigger plan in disrupting the Intergalactic Coalition's effort into restoring peace and balance to the sacred world and to the sacred universe. Mr. X exactly told Warboy that what he's exactly doing is just trying to make sure that humanity is under the current rule of the soul rulers, and under the current rule of the soul rulers of the universe and of the cosmos. And Warboy exactly told Mr. X that he will take him down and his associates, no matter what, exactly, no matter what. On the 20th of May, Warboy decided to petition on an outer space mission in order to neutralize the forces of Dark Master's forces and completely fighting and join the fight with United Man, who completely fighting against the other monsters with the other Phoenician hunters and completely exactly took them down and neutralized them in the process. And United Man was very quietly completely to see Warboy in a state to him that is very good to exactly help his help, very good to exactly have his help and his assistance, stated that the fight and the war is just exactly beginning, and what's yet to come is about to be bigger and very much quietly unimaginable as well. On the 2nd of June, Warboy completely met up with another powerful, formidable supervillain known as Mindman. Mindman exactly told Warboy that the Intergalactic Coalition has already been compromised under the influence of the Order of the Five and the New Lord of Magic and the Order of Power, and also the Universal Prince and the Order of the 12 as well, meaning that it's under the influence of those secret sinister societies and organization, and that whatever it is that they're about to do, they have to exactly do it no matter what before the enemy can gain the upper hand in all means necessary. And Warboy completely disagreed and very quietly agreed with Mindman, stated that he'll take down the Universal Prince and the rest of his forces no matter what. And Warboy completely successfully agreed with that. And he agreed with that with Mindman as well. And Mindman completely disappeared from the shadows after that. On the 10th of June, Warboy and the other world heroes completely exactly fought up against the other monsters who completely summoned from the dark dimension and completely took them down and literally neutralizing them and destroying them in the fun phases and literally neutralizing them in the fun phases and completely take them all down completely. The heroes exactly felt victorious and very quietly happy, as Animal Boy exactly told Warboy his assistance and helping is very good, and they completely exactly shook hands as well. On the 11th of June, Warboy completely exactly returned to the asteroid base, was able to exactly create a hologram map of the other worlds and civilization, realizing that so much has completely changed and the war is still exactly spiraling out of control, and it's getting worse and worse than ever before. And he decided to lend a hand to the Universal Magic Heroes as well. On the 20th of June, Warboy and the other Universal Magic Heroes completely exactly fought up against the Dark Magic users and completely exactly took them down and heavily neutralized them and completely wiped them out and completely decimated. They were able to capture several key enemies, and they were ultimately sentenced directly into the astral prison to remain in custody for their crimes against the rest of the sacred universe and of the rest of sacred existence and of the rest of the sacred world as well in the process as well. Despite this, the Universal Warboy exactly told the Universal Magic Heroes they have what it takes to make a huge difference, and they're still successfully doing so. He gradually shook hands with them and said that they're doing a very much of a good job, and that they should keep, and that they should keep exactly doing very much of a good job, no matter what, as well. Universal Boy returned to the asteroid base. Universal Boy returned to the asteroid base on the 21 of June, and exactly able to exactly see the hologram map until Mind Girl appeared that everything else had been exactly been fighting for, and everything else is being exactly being destroyed, or rather being undone by their hard work or by their forces or by the enemies or competitors, meaning that it's time for them to take the fight directly to the enemy head on completely. And Warboy completely successfully agreed with that as well. On the 1st of July, Warboy and Mind Girl completely exactly got engaged, telling themselves that they'll never exactly live a normal life, but the best thing they can do is exactly get married, exactly try to get married with a supernatural marriage, and also with an alien marriage and a superhuman marriage that can exactly officially reunite the supernaturals and the aliens and the superhumans to live in harmony and also to trust one another once and for all. And they successfully agreed to both of them. They'll be able to make a unique difference as well. On the 9th of July, Warboy completely exactly welcomed the new Project to the Universal Heroes base of operation. Said to them that they'll exactly be training to become members of the Universal Heroes, or members of the Universal Founders, of the Universal Monster Heroes, of the Universal Magic Heroes, the Universal Defending Heroes, the Universal Space Heroes, or the Universal Monster Heroes as well, in a process which will be completely up to them. And Universal Man completely appeared without his uniform and everything else as Grayson Ferris Unity, and stated to the Project that it's their destiny, or they chose to become heroes or other villains, which is exactly up to them to use their gifts and their powers to save the rest of humanity and the rest of sacred existence from the force of evil. And they were all successfully happy that they were eager to exactly train and to carry out the heroic legacy that will continue to exactly live on, no matter what. On the 15th of July, Warboy and the other heroes and the other members of the Universal Heroes created a hologram map of the other worlds and civilization, as they realized that the Shadow Empire still controls many worlds, and that things have quietly changed since their disappearance, and that everything else is quietly falling apart. Warboy exactly told Universal Man that they cannot give up on everything else they've quietly built, that they have to do everything else in their power to take down the bad guys, and have to do whatever it takes to cripple their plan, and also to make sure that their plan don't successfully exactly bear fruit. But before they exactly leave the asteroid base, before they can exactly leave the asteroid base, Four exactly appeared and told Universal Man and Warboy that the mission still has to continue, that it still exactly holds purpose to stop the bad guys no matter what. And they successfully agreed as well. On the 20th of July, the Universal Heroes launched and worked with the Intergalactic Coalition on a very strategic plan to liberate many thousands of worlds and planets that are under the sole control of the Shadow Empire, and Warboy was completely present as they liberate those worlds and fought up against the enemy's battle cruisers and warships and airship fleet, and completely decimated them, and they were completely destroyed as the battle cruisers of the Intergalactic Coalition and warships and airship fleet gained the upper advantage, and they successfully exactly captured as much of the Shadow Empire warlords, and are ultimately sentenced to the custody, as Warboy told the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders that the day of reckoning has fully come, and the Shadow Empire warlord exactly told Warboy that Red Bolt is the one who's the current leader of the Shadow Empire, and that he'll do whatever it takes to become the sole ruler of the universe and of the rest of the cosmos, no matter what, and of the rest of the sacred cosmos, no matter what, and of humanity, no matter what. Despite this, the Intergalactic Coalition exactly extended its greetings to the Universal Heroes, said to them that they've done a very good job by working together with them, and also the leader of the Intergalactic Coalition of the Four Nations shook hands with Warboy, said to him that he done a very much of a good job and a very much of a great job. And Warboy told the members of the Intergalactic Coalition that they know that the Intergalactic Coalition is ready to compromise, and they're willing to take down the enemy from within in order to take them down. But the Intergalactic Coalition of the Four Nation Hunter told Warboy and Universal Man that he's got the situation under control, and that he'll do whatever it takes in order to neutralize the enemy from within as well. On the 1st of August, Warboy and Mind Girl completely exactly looked at the statues of the fallen heroes and of the greatest heroes within the asteroid base, stated that their mission is just far from over, and that there's a huge sacred war brewing, and that it's literally coming. And Mind Girl completely agreed with Warboy, meaning that they have to do whatever it takes to saving humanity and protecting it from the forces of evil, no matter what. and they both of them exactly kiss at the hallway of the statues, remarking on their love and of their friendship and how they were able to exactly overcome everything since they were together from that day. On the 10th of August, Warboy completely officially introduced himself to the world, telling the rest of humanity that he's Warboy and that he's official and he's a protege of Warman, and that he's been able to exactly saving humanity from all sinister threats and all sinister forces, and that he's willing to do whatever it takes to protecting humanity and mankind. And Mind Girl and the rest of the universe. So he was completely proud of Warboy's courage in revealing himself and exposing himself, meaning that they're willing to do whatever it takes to protecting humanity and the rest of sacred existence from the forces of evil, no matter what. And the biggest threat here is Mr. X and his lies and everything else, and in trying to make sure that the United Heroes look better. And Mr. X was very successfully pleased with Warboy's encouragement and also his reaction in announcing himself to the world and to the rest of humanity. Despite this, Warboy completely exacted out of the asteroid base on the 11th of August, and where the Universal Heroes and the United Heroes and the World Heroes and the Universal Founding Heroes and Universal Magicus completely congratulated him in taking a huge step in revealing himself to the world, and stated to him that he exactly done a good job and that he inspired a whole new race of heroes to successfully exactly rise from the shadows and to completely take control of their destiny. And Mind Girl completely hugged them and completely hugged each other, stated that the war is just beginning and that it's far from over, and that Universal Man exactly told Warboy that they're willing to do whatever it takes to protecting humanity, and that it's time for them to fight and focus and fighting to it's time for them to fight and focus their greatest and time for them to exactly to fight and focus in taking down their worst, veritable, greatest enemy, known as the New Roto Magic and the Star Empire and the Shadow Empire and the Dark Order and the other ancient groups of supervillains who secretly exist, meaning that the Sacred World's War has to remain in secrecy, and that the Sacred Galactic War will remain in secrecy. And Warboy completely agreed that revealing himself didn't exactly expose the Sacred World or any of the other unknown worlds from humanity's eyes. But despite that, taking down the bad guys will be their top priority, and he shook hands with Universal Man that it's time for them to do what they should have done a long time ago. Despite this, guys, Warboy is completely compassionate in protecting humanity and in saving the sacred world and the rest of sacred existence. He fell in love with Mind Girl many years ago, ever since they quietly met together and they quietly understand each other, and he's the original member of the Universal Heroes, and they quietly completely understand each other, and he believes in the Universal Heroes goals and mission to making a huge difference and to restoring sacred peace and sacred balance and harmony to the rest of the sacred world and to the rest of humanity. Despite this, he's very skilled in hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, agility and endurance, and also he has a power of invulnerability and the power of super hearing, super speed, super limping, super strength, super speed, super limping, and super strength, and also super speed and super strength and super leaping and super hearing and super flight, and also vision, and also heat vision as well. Very skilled and very intelligent being, and also the greatest being, compassionate of saving humanity and the rest of the supernatural creatures, willing to make sure that the supernaturals and the aliens and the superhumans are able to exactly live together in harmony, and is willing to make a huge, greater, vast distance than ever, willing to make a greater, huge, vast difference throughout the rest of the cosmos, and is willing to save it from the forces of evil and against his greatest arch nemesis, Mr. X. Who is his father? His real father, the bad guy father, a high-ranking member of an evil secretive group of supervillains known as the Founders, and is willing to take down the Founders and the members of the Order of the Five, the Order of the Six, Order of the Seven, Order of the Six, Order of the Seven, Order of the 12, and also the founders, the Unholy Alliance, the Sacred Circle, and Sacred Five, the Shadow Empire, Lord Shadow Jack and Dark Master, and Lord Justin, and the Star Prince, and also the Star Empire, and Red Bolt, and the Dark Order, willing to take down those threats and willing to neutralize those threats and those forces of evil before their dreams and their plans get to bear fruit, no matter what. Warboy is very compassionate. He views the Universal Heroes as members, as his brothers and sisters, and the Four-Nation Hunters as brothers and sisters, and the World Heroes as cousins, as little brothers and sisters, and he's willing to go to extreme measures to protect them and also to look after them. He cares so much about humanity and the rest of sacred existence and the rest of the sacred world, and he's very good at keeping the sacred galactic war as secret because it's meant to be kept a secret, no matter what, guys. He quietly loves life and he quietly loves the universe and is willing to protect it and is willing to do whatever it takes to make a good, remarkable difference to the world and to humanity, to showing humanity that aliens are not the bad guys and that they never were the bad guys, that they are also living creatures and beings who come from different worlds and from different galaxies, that they are also the good guys as well, no matter what. Despite this, he's extremely intelligent, very clever, very caring, very trustworthy, and very understanding. He's super, super, super immortal, and he has lived for many years, and he's very, very intelligent and very, very caring, very, very skilled in boxing, very, very skilled in fighting giant goblin monsters, and very, very skilled in hand-to-hand combat and in swordsmanship, and very, very skilled in super limping and in super hearing and in super speed. Very, very skilled. Right now he's currently engaged and also engaged to Mind Girl, who is another member of the Universal Heroes, who they quietly completely love each other no matter what. He views Organic Boy and Troll Boy as prodigies of his own, and he's willing to guide them throughout the right path and everything else, and he's willing to guide them throughout the right path, and he's willing to make sure that they do the right thing no matter how hard it is. Anyway, he also maintains his usual basis of operation as well as his house, which he lives on planet Earth and in which he lives on planet Earth, and he uses his house as a base of operation so that the Universal Heroes can secretly meet up in secrecy so they can speak about their plans and everything else. And he also maintains the central headquarters of the Universal Heroes base of operation, which is a asteroid base, which is quietly in deep space in the far fringes of planet Earth solar system, which is exactly between Earth's solar system and everything else, but not exactly far away. But it's also closer to the United Heroes asteroid base as well. Despite this, he views United Men as a big brother and the rest of the United Heroes as bigger brothers and uncles and elders, and he's willing to protect them and he's willing to work for them and he's willing to make a remarkable difference throughout the rest of sacred history and the rest of the sacred world and the rest of humanity. He's so caring and he's so very much caring and loving superhero with a big heart, and he spreads his love through his engaged fiance known as Mind Girl, and he's willing to make sure he loves her to the whole universe, and he's willing to protect her no matter what. And they love each other so much, completely. Well, guys, that's it for today's episode. I all hope you have a wonderful, blessed evening and afternoon. I'll exactly see you tomorrow. I'm grateful for your support in watching and viewing my episode. Keep doing so, like and subscribe. Have a blessed evening and afternoon. See you tomorrow. Bye. Bye. Bye.